Good day, Comet Nation. This is your fall 2022 Administration and Security Training for Test Admins. This is just going to be a quick, brief video going through our test training. This is for any and all individuals who will be proctoring either the third grade reading guarantee or any of the high school fall end of course assessments. Again, this is our yearly requirement. You only have to do this once. So if you do this here in the fall, you will not have to do this if you do it in the spring. However, it does need to be done at least once during the year. At the end of this, there is a signature verification form that will need to be filled out as well. We'll make this quick. Here we go. For all test administrators, the manual for the Ohio State tests is from Cambium, that's also known as AIR. To access this, there is an access manual. It is the entire manual. I do not give all 122 pages out, but if you are interested in going through that, you may. Every individual who is testing will receive the last pages of it, which is the proctoring and script section, so you will have a hard copy of that. Additionally, if you've never done this before, I highly recommend you going to this test administrator certification course. It is a quick 30-minute course, but it is a step-by-step of what you will see when you are proctoring the test. If you have never given an AIR assessment before, you should do this. I cannot emphasize that enough. It's a 30-minute course. It does have a certification at the end. You will keep that for your own record, but that is where you would go for that certification, right here, down here at the bottom. Okay, we are in our 2023 and beyond for our high school courses. For our high school end of course tests, our English Language Arts 2, Algebra 1, Geometry, Bio, American History, and American Government. We will have some makeup tests based on need and demand there. Our Ohio Accessibility Manual, you can click on that right there. That'll take you to a full manual for you. Our state and district testing windows. Our state test window is October 17th through November 4th. We have chosen October 25th and October 26th for the third grade ELA, also known as the third grade reading guarantee. The makeup dates then are the 3 dates that follow that, the 27th and the 28th. And then the following Monday, which is the 31st. For our high school end of course here, we have chosen December 5th through January 5th. That'll give us about 12 days in December before our long break, and then we will have 3 days that we could possibly hit somebody who missed maybe an extreme amount of time there in December to catch them up at January 5th. Length of time there, you can see that has not changed from years past. We have 90-minute and 90-minute for part 1 and part 2 for our third grade, and then varying here based on what possible tests that were given here for our high school courses. Calculator policy there for our high school end of course test. We obviously will not be using that for our third grade reading guarantee. Not a specific order for those tests in the high school. Obviously for our ELA, you'll be taking part 1, then part 2. That'll be for all of our tests being given. Makeup tests must occur within the district's test window. A student who is absent or has a test interrupted or maybe just doesn't show up on time is not required to resume his or her tests with other students who are taking the same test. They may do so, but they won't. Obviously, depending on where we're at within that window, we'll determine the need for that. TA roles, you will find your online testing checklist here in Appendix K. Students with accommodation. Scheduling is obviously really important. We'll have some pre-scheduling with that. Headphones are only for those who receive read aloud, especially in ELA. Universal accommodation there in math. And then we get to a few of our resources. Goes back to our calculator policies. What do I do if we're having some issues there? You'll have some additional resources that are in the testing packet that I give to you as well. That'll have additional get help troubleshooting guides as well. If you're interested in how machine scoring occurs, click on some of those links. Testing security. The following are examples of security violations: reviewing a test booklet or a student's answer, document to review test content or student responses. Using a student's login information to access an online test in order to review the test content. Reviewing the test and creating a study guide or in some way releasing the test questions to students. Coaching a student in any manner to indicate the correct answer or any answer. Discussing test questions with colleagues or students after the test has been administered, which may affect students who are tested on a later date. Okay, there are following then is some ethical use of tests. You can read that on your own as you go through the document. And then obviously we have some tasks to complete before testing. The Ohio State test portal is there. You'll be able to click on that link to take you to that. You could also go to Google and just Google Ohio State testing portal. It'll pop you to the same location. There are practice sites as well. Don't forget our Restart Readiness Assessment. I think that's a great use of practice as well. Obviously, you can use a practice site, but the RRA will be the closest to testing that our students will experience because they will be required to put in their username and password, their test ID, and their testing ticket. You're going to use the same testing ticket for that. Resources there, test blueprints, you've had and then some tasks to complete before testing. A lot of this is going to be done for you. Test room preparation, make sure your room is ready to go. Make sure there's no test question clues, such as charts, posters, map, etc. You are allowed 2 blank sheets of paper to every student who's taken the ELA test. You can request additional paper if needed. You'll have a hard copy of that script and highlight. It will be provided to you. During that test, make sure you're monitoring the test, walk around the room, monitor for completion, testing portal, monitor for needing to pause if a student needs a break. There are allowed breaks. Their test time continues going, obviously. You guys are responsible for ensuring that students complete their test within the testing time. Only students with approved extended time may test beyond the provided test time limit. For our new proctors, have a start time, have a finish time. Take a look at that compared to the amount of time they're allotted for the test, and just keep that running clock for yourself. And for students, you can display that. Some more information on pausing the test. There is a point where a student, it'll ask you multiple questions. If you go through that certification course, it'll ask you a few times, are you ready to submit? You're now ready to submit. You have submitted. Again, if you have not done a certification course, I highly recommend that for you. Breaks are allowed, as I already talked about. I wouldn't have more than one individual out of the room at a time. When they are on a break, their test time is continuing. So make sure you are aware, make sure they are aware. We have some local policies. Essentially, silent work may be allowed as long as that silent work has nothing to do with the test that they are taking. I know that can get a little iffy, ELA with the books. But obviously, if you finish your math, students can't then work on more math work. Okay, and that's not going to become as quite of a big of an issue here in the fall, but in the spring it will. Okay, if you have any questions about any of these things, general testing policies, questions about the administrative manuals, technical issues, you can see myself, Bethany, or Tom. Your building admins or your counselors will help with testing schedule, test accommodations, unusual circumstances on test days, violation of test security, school emergencies that affect the testing. I will also be around to help with those if those are things that your building administrator or counselors will be being the head of. And here we are. This is the form that you will click on once you reviewed all this material. That'll take you to the Google form that you will fill out. Again, please hold on to that TA certification form for the 30-minute course for your personal records. I will not be collecting those. Okay? Test training must be completed once during each school year. If you do this now, you will not have to do this in the spring. If you have any questions, please feel free to call or email me. I do meet before testing or make myself available for testing questions a few weeks before testing.